Hey guys, what's up? John here from flightmikealpha.com. We are at Lufthansa Aviation Training. I can't say it. But either way, we're in Goodyear, Arizona, where they train a lot of the pilots for Lufthansa Airlines and all their subsidiaries, so all the smaller airlines that fly for Lufthansa. And this is what they train their pilots on. So all these Cirruses are 2017, 2018 models, SR20 G6s, 215 horsepower Lycoming engines, way better than the Continentals, just my personal opinion. 3-blade constant speed props, and there's no prop lever inside, so it's really simple to control. It's just a single power lever, and then you have a mixture lever. It is kind of auto mixture-ish, but you still have manual control over the mixture if you want to override the barometric system that's kind of auto compensating. It's fuel injected, obviously pretty wheel pants all over the airplane, places to sump your fuel underneath, ice inspection lights on the side, so if you get into icing at night you can flip those on. It lights up the leading edge of your wing so you can see. Cirruses have these funny little split wings, right? So the split in the wing here is basically just changing the angle of attack, and the reason for that is this is going to fly at a slightly higher angle of attack than this guy, so that when you stall, this should stall first, and these stall strips actually make this part of the wing stall first, so that theoretically this will keep flying, meaning you got smooth airflow over it, meaning you have some aileron authority with that really cool side stick that they fly with. Other than that, it's a pretty normal airplane. It's the same stuff you always see. We've got, aside from just more streamlined looking, you've got your normal transponder, DME antennas. You've got an ADF antenna, which is kind of weird on an airplane this new, but because they're training German pilots and European pilots to EASA standards, that is basically what they need to train on. They need to still do the NDB approaches and practice that. You also have a glide slope antenna underneath there, and then your standard antennas on top, the VOR, the comm antennas up there on the top of the roof, and then of course GPS antennas. We're here on the wing tip. It's pretty neat, pretty nifty, pretty new looking. All LED lighting for your landing lights, your nav lights, and they got this cool little light up strip for nav, and then strobe lights back here as well. Static wicks, pretty typical. Any IFR aircraft or any aircraft that's going to be flying IFR is going to have some static wicks on it. You got your pitot tube underneath. Pretty normal. It's not like the Piper pitot tubes. There's not a static port combined in here. The static port is on the side of the fuselage, much like Cessna's, and there's two of them, right? So there's one on this side, one on the other side. So when you're in a slip, you're still going to get relatively accurate instrument readings on your airspeed, altimeter, VSI, all of that, all your static instruments. Cool little baggage area back here. Then you have your little step you step on. All of your flap hinges, all that sort of stuff, has these little speed fairings on them to make it just that much more sleek and faster, so to speak. As we come underneath here, you're going to see something kind of unique, and that's this little grate with this little scoop on it that kind of helps draw air out. The purpose of this grate is air conditioning. They actually have air conditioning on all of their Cirruses here. I mean, they do fly in Arizona. It gets warm, but that's awesome, because when I was a CFI, I never flew air-conditioned aircraft, and I wish I had. That would have been so much nicer, especially being in Florida or out here in Arizona. They also have cool paint jobs on all their airplanes. Static wicks back here, pretty much standard. It's just a normal airplane. A little tail skid back here, and they haven't polished it off just yet. But these are all pretty new. A little trim tab, and of course you have elevator trim on a Cirrus as well as aileron trim right on your side stick. So as you come around this side, this is where the rocket would blast out of the top of the airplane. If you were to go ahead and pull the big handle up top, that would go ahead, blast out the rocket. You'd have the straps come off from underneath the skin, and you would safely settle back down to Earth, provided you pulled that handle at enough altitude. They did have a successful deployment not too long ago at about 300-ish feet AGL, just over 300 feet on takeoff. Guy lost the engine, reached up right away, pulled the handle. You got to remember he was flying upright in a nice, beautiful, paths for the rocket to come out, parachute deploy, and let him settle back down to the ground, compared to if you're in a spin, at 300 feet and you pull that parachute handle and you deploy the rocket, probably not going to be such a successful outcome. Other than that, it's all just a regular airplane. You won't see any rivets. It's a really smooth, sleek-looking airplane. There's some rivets that are really flush here on the flaps and on the ailerons, but the wing itself is plastic. They'll tell you it's carbon fiber, fiberglass, Kevlar, some fancy composite. It's plastic. It's just fiber reinforced plastic, which is a basic way of saying carbon fiber, Kevlar, or anything like that. It's nothing that's as per airplanes they are life-limited airframes, so because they're made of that plastic material, maybe they'll change in the future, but I believe right now it's around 12,500 hours, and the airframe has exceeded its life, and at that point, it's just kind of scrap, So the Cirrus model seems to be that, you buy new airplanes, you fly new shiny airplanes, and when they hit a certain amount of time, then you just throw them away and buy a new one. That pretty much wraps up the outside. Let's go ahead and hop inside now and check out what it looks like on the inside. That's really the cool part of this airplane. The panel and all the avionics they have in there are really sweet. So the inside of this airplane is my favorite part, really. It still smells brand new, which is awesome. I mean, I've flown a lot of airplanes, but not many brand new ones, really. So this thing still smells and feels brand new when you open and close the doors, get in it. And it's actually very comfortable. I will give Cirrus that. They made a very comfortable aircraft. Seats adjust really nicely. And the back seat's really comfortable, too. I went for a ride in the back the other day. Super cool airplane. Fire it up, of course, just flip the batteries on. And the whole thing comes to life. You got this whole FMS style panel right here that's really airline style, so to speak, right? So that's where you type in all your fixes, type in your destination, that's your enter key. You have your FMS control knob. We'll go ahead and boot this thing up. Of course, starting right down here, fuel selector valve, left, right tank only. You can't run on both. And then if you want to go off, you just pick that up and switch it to off. So it's got that little safety on there, so you shouldn't be able to switch it off in flight. You got a fuel boost pump right there. You got your power lever or your throttle, and it has a little go around button right there for your little pointer finger to go ahead and hit go around. What that does is it throws you into TOTO mode or takeoff. So takeoff lateral mode, takeoff vertical mode. It throws it right to about 7 degrees, 7.5 degrees nose up. That's the V bars, or that's your flight director that you're going to pitch for. So you can turn off the flight director just by hitting the autopilot disconnect button, or by hitting the flight director off button there, turning it on or off. If you just flip the flight director on now, you can see we go into roll and pitch mode, so it just maintains the current roll and pitch of the aircraft, and that's helping guide you. So in flight, you are going to be controlling the yellow bars. The purple bars, the V bars, are going to be telling you what the aircraft wants you to do, how it wants you to fly it. So we'll go ahead and throw the flight director on. We've got roll pitch mode, throw the autopilot on, and it's not going to do anything because it's maintaining that roll and pitch. But if I go into vertical speed mode and then try to go vertical speed up, now you can see the side stick, not the yoke, but the actual stick sliding back as the airplane's trying to climb and pitch the nose up to climb at about 700 feet a minute or whatever I spun in there. Hit the little red button, and that kicks off your autopilot. You've got all your switches right here, nice, easy, accessible for battery, strobes, lights, all that, ice, pitot heat. You've got your dimmers right there. And then down here is where we have our circuit breaker panel right on our right leg. ELT's down there as long as alternate pull-on air. So you just pull that on, you get alternate air source. That's going to affect your altimeter, your VSI, your airspeed, just in case the static ports somehow get iced over. So over here, PFD, MFD, pretty normal. It's a G1000. They call it the Cirrus Perspective or Cirrus Perspective Plus by Garmin. That's the fancy Cirrus name for it. It's a G1000 basically. I mean, it's a nice updated G1000. Might be newer than some of the older G1000s from 2005, 2006 you've flown in Skyhawks. So it's a nice interface, not touchscreen at all, which I kind of like, right? So it's just all soft keys, and then all your soft keys and hard keys down here. Press something like home right there, brings up to your home page, to your map right on your MFD. I don't like touchscreens because when you're bouncing around in flight, in turbulence, it's really hard to hit the button you want. Here, it's easy to kind of brace your hand and hit the buttons you want without worrying about hitting the wrong thing and then having to start all over. And everyone that's ever used a Garmin product knows that if you hit the wrong thing, if you click in when you meant to twist or you click in when you meant to hit enter, that can be kind of a pain in the butt, a little bit of a nightmare, and you have to start all over again. Here's my favorite part about this aircraft is air conditioning. And yes, it gets really, really cold. It is amazing. You can select just right on your face and feet. Obviously, air conditioning, heat off the engine, defrost, all those different things. It is amazing. That's by far my favorite part of this airplane. Aside from the side stick. The side stick's really cool because it's just a nice ergonomic way to fly the airplane. Push to talk, autopilot disconnect, up-down trim, so elevator trim, and then aileron trim left and right as well. So that actually will move your side stick left and right and reset the aileron trim if you feel that it's left wing heavy or right wing heavy, maybe a fuel imbalance, maybe you have a really big passenger sitting next to you, or maybe it's just, not flying quite straight. Down here, of course, all your 3 standby instruments, pull to cage, electronic attitude indicator, so it's a standby attitude indicator that runs electronically. Standard, regular old, steam gauge type altimeter runs off your static port, and airspeed running off the pitot and static ports. And looking back at this center pedestal here, you've got all your controls, and as you come down here to your audio panel, awesome Bluetooth audio panel, nice Garmin audio panel, and these things are just super clear. And whenever I make videos with a Garmin audio panel, the audio comes out so much clearer than when I make it with some of the old King or Narco type things, just those old school ones. And of course, flap. The whole thing about Cirrus is it's very intuitive, right? The flap handle or flap lever looks like a flap. So you can put your flaps down 50%, tells you right there. Don't do it if you're above 150 KIAS, knots indicated airspeed. Put the flaps right back up, and flaps course 100%, just twist them all the way down if you're 110 knots or slower. Other than that, like we said earlier, normal throttle, normal little mixture here. A million different pieces of information that go on inside of these 2 screens, right? It's just amazing how much information you can get from these. And of course, if one fails on you, you hit the display reversionary mode, they become identical. One failure is really not a big deal. It throws all your engine instruments that are normally on the right over onto the left as well, along with your PFD, your primary flight display, your attitude indicator, the most important stuff for you. All your V-speeds are right there. It's really a lot more like an airliner, and that's why these guys train in them like this, because they're training airline pilots. So they train them to basically, after this, they're going to go fly probably a Citation or some sort of twin, and then get their multi-engine rating, and then go on and fly an Airbus. So they're training airline pilots in an airline type environment. And the cool thing is they hire American CFIs to do it. So you can come out here with 500 hours total time and be a CFI for them, train these guys, and fly really cool airplanes, and they pay really well too for you to do it. Now, of course, the big part about Cirrus, their biggest marketing ploy ever is this guy right up here. So that is your parachute handle. You pull down there, you remove the pin, and you just go ahead and jerk that thing down, one big yank, and that will cost you a lot of money, but probably save your life as well. We'll go ahead and replace that pin before I have to go inside and explain why I blew their parachute inside their shade hanger. They'd probably be a little upset. Other than that, there's the back seat. There's not a whole heck of a lot to it other than a log camera sitting back there, but it's really comfortable, and you got the little map lights back there. You got a nice baggage compartment. It's a pretty sweet ride, and it's a very cross-country capable airplane. Talking to the guys that fly these, they see about 10 gallons per hour or so at cruise, about 65% power, and about 172 speeds, maybe a little faster, right? 120, 130 knots is pretty typical for them to be seeing. So that's pretty much it. Any questions on this Cirrus, or any questions about coming out here to be a CFI for Lufthansa and training some of their cadets out here in these Cirruses? Leave them in the comments below. It is a cool place to work. It's a really sweet place to work. We spent a whole week here just kind of shadowing their CFIs, checking out the campus. They were super cool to give us access to everything and just let us kind of play around and film a whole bunch. And conveniently enough, they made the mistake, I think, of leaving this thing full and leaving the keys in it. So we're going to go ahead and cut this little walk around video short, and hopefully they don't mind too much if I go take a little ride here.